I gathered in His name. He has promised to be there to set their hearts aflame. And right now I sense the nearness of His presence in our midst. What a privilege to feel His presence, and oh, how sweet it is. So sweet is the Spirit when it moves among His people. Hearts are melted, lives are changed, and dreams restored. He brings healing for every heartache. He has a promise for every problem. Just so sweet is the Spirit of the Lord. These very walls cry out the glory of the Lord. Every woman, man, and child can feel God's love outpoured. It's so real, there's no denying that these blessings all are His. What a thrill to be at home with Jesus, and oh, how sweet it is.
Right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Give me a minute to just get my light right. It's Wednesday morning and day 11 of our 21-day fast. There we go. Now there's light on the subject. I hope you are well. I hope you are still going strong. Every single morning when I type the day that it is, I get excited because we are slowly making progress. And guess what? Day 11 means that we are on the other half now. We are we've begun what they call in running the home run, right? We have begun the home run. So I want to stop before we go too far. For those of us who started with us on day 1, all right? If you do not mind, we've now have 10 days in. What is your score out of 10? All right. Mine is, I want to type it because I'm very proud of this. Mine is 10 out of 10. And of the many years that I've done this fast, I have not been able to get 10 upon 10. So let's quickly score here on YouTube or on Facebook. Can we quickly do a score? And as you are doing that, I want to absolutely congratulate you. I want to congratulate you for those of us who have been with us from day 1 to day 10, whether you got 10 out of 10 in terms of the fast, or whether you got 9 out of 10, whether you got 7 or 6 out of 10. You have come this far. You know, you have come this far and you are still committed. One thing we are saying this year is that we are looking for something different, right? We are looking for something different. I'm looking to be a different person. I am looking to achieve something I have never achieved before. I don't even know quite what that looks like, but I am looking to become somebody I've never been. And God said to me, you have then got to do something that you have never done, right? And so just this fasting, this extreme commitment to the fast is just one way. It's just one way of me saying to God, you know the song that says, this time I want it on. This time I want it all. I'm saying that, but I've also then learned to accept in even as early as day 11 that even as you want it all, prepare for all the battles. And we're going to talk about that today, right? That we're going to get it, but we're not going to get it easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. But indeed, Kiana, by his grace, we are making it. So congratulations, guys. Well done. If you are here and you are feeling like you kind of have dropped the ball, you know what? There is never a wrong time to begin. There is never a wrong time to begin. Movement has been an issue for me, but some people have been movement and fast 10 out of 10, movement 3 out of 10. I'm possibly on the 3s and the 4s with movement as well, but I want to get back to movement. So I wanted to say to somebody who might be sitting here and feeling a little bit discouraged, I'm so proud of these numbers, by the way. Every single day, in fact, every single moment, every single breath is an opportunity to start again. Is it Lamentations? I think it's chapter 3, verse 20. The mercies of God are new every morning. Every morning. And of course, later he says, great is life. It is because of that you are still here. It is because of that you are still standing. So I'm not sure, it doesn't matter where you are. But for all of us who are on 10 upon 10, it is so beautiful to see the momentum. You are on it now. Do not lose it. Remember, we spoke about the graph. You rise and you do not dip. Because what we are doing here, we are building foundation for the journey ahead. From the 26th of January, we are now going to have to change gears and go to the next level. But let me tell you what, you will be able to go to the next level because you've started on a strong and a good foundation. Ladies, good morning. Good morning. That is me encouraging you. That is me charging you. That is me saying, if you are after something different this year, if you are after the greatness that you are sensing that God has called you to, you're going to have to be a different person. All right, you're gonna have to be a different person, and for you to be a different person, by His grace, you can't repeat the same posture, the same attitude, and the same actions that you have been carrying on over these past few years, and they gave you nothing. They didn't yield results. All right, if you have forgotten, remember to hit the like. Right, hit the like of the broadcast, whether you are joining it via YouTube or via Facebook. Remember to like. All right, and love works out well, and I've been very encouraged to see all the hearts. When I go back to view the analyze English to escape us so early in the morning. All right, hit like, love button, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, just to hit the subscribe button. You can even put notification. It enables you to get a notification when we are live, but subscribe is enough. If you are on Facebook, you've never done that, go to YouTube. You will see it will say Theatre of Grace, and you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've been very encouraged by subscriptions, the loves, the likes. Of course, we tag, right? You tag somebody so that they can come. Some people are already here, even as you tag them, but others will come and watch at a different stage. And then I take the greetings. Good morning. Mambukang took the front row seat this morning, followed by Kelly from Botswana. Kelly has been waking up early this morning. And then Kiana, also from Maun, took the third seat today. My lioness joining us from Cape Town, and Elizabeth also from Botswana. Tebucho. All right. Dumelang bomme. Like Botswana is here in the house. Good morning, guys. Morning tea. iHanuva ingendlu. iHanuva ikhona yonke this morning. Molweni iHanuva bethunan nomvuyo from Cape Town. Good morning. Lesotho is here. No, not Tlani is in Johannesburg. Dudu is also in Joburg. That's good. Morning, Sme. Good morning, sis. Good morning. It's good to see you here. Malerata from Nigel. All right, ladies. Let me just continue to appreciate you. We greet, we tag, right? We greet, we tag, we share, we like. What's the other thing? Yes, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Whew. Okay. Now, before we go to the message of today, I keep reminding us. There's me. I like it. Titan Pascami is like a boxer in the corner. I keep reminding us. It is my responsibility to remind you and to invite you to the Theatre of Grace conference this year. All right, this year.
And this one is the last one.
Apologies. Okay, let me just do this one more time. Let me perhaps do it without talking. And Here we are. All right. So this is me officially inviting you to the Theatre of Grace conference. This year we are in Gqeberha, right here where I am based. All right. 23 to 26 October. The link to register is on this broadcast. All right. Registration, we aim, and it looks like we will achieve that. All right. We aim to close at the end of March. All right. Registration, we aim to close it at the end of March. So do not wait for the end of March to register. I do not know if we will have space for day visitors at the rate that the registrations are going. So the registration fee is 1,000 rand, but you have an opportunity to pay that over time up until the end of March to then complete it. So register today, put down your deposit, a minimum of 100 rand. Some people are just paying for the full thing so that next they deal with accommodation, and people are starting to book accommodation. The Boardwalk, when we spoke, they said that they had no space, but I'm not there. My lioness is doing that. There is a booking code, all right, that we have a certain price attached to that. But let me not talk about conference. Let me come this morning to the message of today. We are still with David. I think we maybe have 2-3 messages from King David, and then we will spoke about it. And I was talking now, I was in my conversations with God about David, because what we are doing, and I'm that kind of speaker. I like to have a canvas. I look at a story, and from that story I glean lessons. All right. And so we are now gleaning lessons of the journey to greatness from David the shepherd boy, eventually to King David. And I do not know actually if there is a mortal who has been elevated in the eyes of God and in the eyes of humanity like David has been. I mean, Jesus is called the son of David. Jesus, and yet David comes in the middle of everything. I mean, if we were to say Jesus is the son, I don't know, of Adam, because he's in the, I guess everybody is in the what line in the genealogy of Adam, but everybody, things seem to be traced back to King David, and yet there were other kings. There was a king that came before him, by the way, and that was King Saul, and there are kings that came after David, but he seems to be the one of the great. I'm not going to say the greatest, but he seems to be one of the great people. And Jerusalem is called the city of David. When they talk about Mary and Joseph, the mother and father of Jesus, they trace them, and somewhere in them they find David. So when I use David as a canvas to talk about greatness, somebody that we can follow on a journey to greatness, he indeed was considered quite great by God. Listen to God talking to Samuel about David as if David was innocent. Anyway, I'm just explaining to somebody. So they say, could we choose other people? Absolutely, there are many other people in the Bible. Joseph is also one. There are many, right? We could even choose Jesus, but then people want to discount Jesus because, well, he was Jesus. Okay, now today we are in 1 Samuel chapter 19, but hey, you're going to have to continue because the battle lasts long, right? The title of today, and somebody put it down, choose your battles, all right? Choose your battles. The journey to greatness, we spoke about it the other day, it is littered with opposition, all right? And sometimes that opposition can escalate to a full-blown battle. Have you ever found yourself in a fight? In a situation where you have people that you do not even know where it began, but you know, and they also know that they are born. You don't even know where it began. And I think that is exactly the story of David. David must sit and think, when did I offend the king? When did I offend King Saul so badly that suddenly I have to run for my life from him? The journey to greatness is littered with opposition. And somebody write that down. And that opposition sometimes escalates to a full-blown battle. And the question then becomes, what happens? What happens? You, as the one who is in the pursuit of greatness, you, as the one who is rising, remember where this is happening. This is happening Uthixo hits me with things that break my heart. This is happening in the context of you having accepted a call to arise, a call to raise, a call to rise, right? In that process, you find yourself facing opposition, which sometimes translates to a full-blown battle. Here's the painful thing, Bambos, about a walk with God, is that when the mandate is out, the call is out, and God does not withdraw the mandate. God does not stop. He's not going to stop and excuse us and say to me, look, I called you to arise. I called you to rise. I called you to raise. But I understand that in 2025, you came across opposition. You came across a battle. That battle was big. I understand why you stopped. God does not let us go. If he has called you, he does not then withdraw and say, so it's fine, it's okay. You can stop because I understand. God does not do that. He may understand that you fall. Hence, First John, I write you the thing that you may not fall, full stop. So he may understand that you fall, but he's expecting you to get up. He has given you the grace to get up. Let me tell you though, the most unfair and the most painful things that you will find yourself or may find yourself in is that not only will you find yourself in opposition, not only will you find yourself in a full-blown battle, but sometimes you will find yourself. So on your journey of rising, I'm trying to phrase this correctly, on your journey of rising, there's a strong chance, in fact, I can almost guarantee you, because the enemy exists, that you'll find yourself facing opposition, that you'll find yourself in a battle. But that's a people that you will find yourself having to raise the very people that are fighting you. You will find yourself in opposition. In your journey to rising, as you rise, you will find yourself in opposition. As you rise, you will find yourself sometimes in battle. But even worse, as you rise, if you call yourself by the name of God as a son and a daughter of God, as you rise, you will find yourself in service of the very ones who are trying to kill you. You don't believe me? Ask David. The Bible says King Saul, before he fled, which is what we're going to talk about today, before he fled, King Saul tried to kill him not once. That javelin that was thrown to his back, it was not once that the king tried to kill him. While he was busy trying to serve the king, there he was serving the king. There he was trying to calm the king down. And while he was busy in the service of the king was trying to kill him. And what do you do then? What do you do? Especially if you know you are capable of dealing with this battle. If you know that you are capable of dealing with this battle, what then do you do when you find yourself in such a battle? And I can give you many, many reasons. Paul and Silas are thrown in jail, and one of the very first recipients of what God did through them in that jail was the very guy that had put them in jail, tied them to the things and locked the locks and locked them. But the very first recipient was the guy that put them in jail. So we've got to accept this. We've got to accept this, that opposition is part of the journey. Battles are part of the journey. And let me tell you something. Helping and serving and raising your enemies is part of the journey. You don't believe me? Let me give you a second verse for today. So I'm saying we are starting from 1 Samuel chapter 19. Right? Let me give you the memory verse for today and see how serious God is. And you're not going to be surprised when I give you this. Here's our memory verse for today. Matthew 5, verse 43 to verse 44. Jesus says, you have heard, but I say, love your enemies. Love them. Now, I've heard my sisters and my brothers say, I will do that, but from the balcony. It is so nice to be able to say that. But is it always possible? When the Bible says, when Jesus says, love your enemies, and we're like, no, I will do that. But listen, I'm going to do it from the balcony. I am not going to dispute that. But it is not always possible to love your enemies from the balcony. So love your enemies. Here's the second sentence. Pray for them that persecute you. English is going to leave me. Pray for them that persecute you. In other words, yeah, it's noble to say love them from the balcony. But sometimes God requires you to love them within close proximity. Well, how do I know? Not only does he expect you to love them, but he expects you to serve them. So what then do you do when you find yourself in this battle? David, let me not say what do you do. Between you and God, you will know what to do for a particular battle, right? Because sometimes it becomes necessary for you to stand and not turn, for you to stand your ground, because that particular battle requires you. And so your walk with God is crucial here. Your prayer life, your devotional life is crucial here. It is critical for you to stay very close to God, because sometimes God, like he would say, I think it is Ephesians, when it talks about the full armor of God, he says you put on the full armor, and then he says when all is said and done, stand your ground. In other words, some battles, and that is your choice in those battles. In some battles, your choice is to stand. You do not believe me. Remember Queen Esther. Her battle required her to go before the king. Sometimes the battle requires you to do that. But please note that your walk with God is going to be critical. Zangavuke afumani assignment go to the king. She did that. She got the assignment, yes. But between the call to battle, we are going and going to battle, there is the in-between. What's the in-between? What we are doing now. Esther got the call. And I am going to fight it. But before I fight it, what did she do? 3 days of prayer and fasting, right? And then after that, 3 days, this is not the one you are going to run away from. This one you are going to have to face head on. I don't know, but which battles you're going to have to run away from, which battles you're going to have to stand, but really choose your battles. Choose them carefully, but your choice, your reaction, and your response to the battles will be determined by your walk with God. For Esther, it was to go and face the king face to face. Because you know what? Sometimes let me give you a simple example. Between you and God, you will know how to face the battle. And let me tell you, the minute he tells you how to face it, he has also given you the power to face it. Esther was not the strongest woman there was. Esther was not the strongest option there was to save the Jews, but she was the best tool that God had at that time to use. And God chooses you. Sometimes the battle chooses you. Now, let me give you an example. All right? As to whether to run or to face the battle head on. If your child or your family is in danger, if you see a snake approaching your child, that battle is yours. But you do not run from that. You do not run from that battle, because as you run from that battle, you are leaving your child behind with a snake. But I'm saying, between you and God, he will tell you how to deal with your battle. Choose your battles carefully, though. David, here's the painful thing about some battles, all right? And ladies, we have got to know this, because Tina, this is not our strength. This is not our strongest point. This guilty as charged. This is our strongest tool. This is the unfairness about battles sometimes. This is the unfairness about battles. How you can find yourself in a battle that you know that you can win. That you know that you can win. David kept fleeing. David kept running from a man that he could easily destroy. That, by the way, is strength. But to do that, you cannot do it in your own physical strength. The only way to do that is you will need supernatural strength. Sometimes you need strength to fight the battle, right? And that is what God gave Esther, right? And she says, if I perish, I perish. Sometimes you need strength to fight the battle. Sometimes you have physical strength to fight this battle. But between you and God, we know that it is not in your best interest to go into this battle with your physical strength. And you know what? God then instructs you. He gives you the strength to run from this battle. It makes no sense. You are strong. Ungangena apha ubathi kwasha in no time. But God says to you, not this one. Not this one. So, as far as battles are concerned, sometimes you pray to God to give you the strength to fight, to face the battle head on. And when He has given you that strength, He will prevail, like He has prevailed for David against the lion, like He has prevailed for David against the bear, like He has prevailed for David against Goliath, like He has prevailed for David against many battles that David has fought, like the one we were talking about yesterday, where David kills 10,000, but Saul kills 1,000. Let me tell you something. So sometimes you need the strength to fight the battle head on. In another battle, you come as the stronger one. You are physically stronger. Whether you are physically strong, able to fight like fists, or you are physically stronger in terms of your mouth, or you are economically stronger than the ones that are fighting with you, or you are relationally. So in other words, strength is not only galo, but you are stronger, right? And they are weaker or they are poorer in an area where you are richer. Sometimes you need the grace to fight against the edge to get into that battle. You don't hear me. Many battles before Saul, God gave David the strength to face the battle head on. And he prevailed. I must close. And he prevailed against those. In all of those head-on battles, Saul prevailed. And God kept saying to Saul, the battle is the Lord's. Can I tell you something? The battle remains the Lord's. And that is how you will know what decision to make in each battle. Never make the battle yours. Even this one, the battle between Saul and David is the Lord's. And so what are we saying? When we say choose your battles, we are saying let God decide your decision in those battles. And in this particular battle, God has said, Balek ngenyawo zombini. Let me summarize because time is against me. Let me summarize. In your rise, as you rise, you will face opposition, which will escalate into battles, all right? And choose your battles. How do you choose your battles? One word. Always remember, even now, the battle is still not yours. The battle is still not yours. The battle is the Lord's. What does that mean? He will dictate to you which way to fight the battle. Sometimes God will tell you, go to the king. I could perish. If you perish, you perish, right? Go to the king and God will give you the strength to face that battle head on. But sometimes the other battle, which is still the Lord's, God will say to you, run. Run from this one. Balek from this one. Genyawo zombini. Later on, David tells us why he runs from this battle. You do not fight against the anointed of God. Now, this doesn't just refer to those God has anointed, but you do not fight against the anointed of God. So, ladies, in your journey, sometimes you fight, sometimes you run. But don't forget always that it's not your battle. The battle is the Lord's, and therefore the Lord dictates your decision. So how do you know what is the decision? Stay with him. Stay with him on your knees. Because I can't even fight this battle. And he says to you, push forward. He will fight the battle. Because I can fight this one. And God says to you, run from this one. But as you rise, battles are part of the journey. But let me tell you what they are sent to do. By the enemy, meant to destroy you. Is it Joseph who said that you meant it for harm? Every battle that the enemy has brought in your path is meant to destroy you. The thief, John 10 verse 10, comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Full stop. Every single battle that the enemy has put in front of you is meant to destroy you as far as the devil is concerned. But if it gets to you, God has allowed it because it forms part of the sharpening that you need. What the enemy brings to destroy you, God brings to elevate you. I will leave it there. The battle is the Lord. The battle is the Lord's. Whether you will run from it or you will fight it head on, it is the Lord. The Lord gives you strength to fight it. The Lord gives you strength to run away from it. Either way, the battle is the Lord's. 2, the enemy brings the battle to steal, to kill, and to destroy, to thwart, to stop you from rising, to ground you, to block you, to put you down. But if God allows it, God brings the battle to elevate you. Either way, stay close to God. Either way, the mandate remains: arise, rise, yes, raise. And sometimes the very ones who are fighting you. Let's leave it here for this morning. All the best for day 11. Now we go to Zoom. We go to Zoom for prayer. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Oh.